every child who had a like interest in being an athlete or an artist had a big chance to see the Western world eventually if they reached a certain level. And that's certainly what motivated me to become a cross-country skier. I started very young, and at age 14 I left my home and went to a sports school, and there we got our schooling and our training done in the same place, and I became better very quickly and reached at age 17 like world-class level, and we went to world championships, and I won with my relay team a bronze medal. But in preparation for that season, they started to give us steroid pills, which is a form of doping to make you stronger. And I had no option when the coaches came, when the doctors came in every night at a training camp. They gave us a blue pill that we were supposed to swallow in front of them. And I tried to not swallow the pill because I didn't want to take doping out of several reasons. First off, I didn't want to cheat. And then also I was worried about my health or the health of maybe my future children. So I tried to avoid taking the pills by putting them between my lower lip and my lower teeth and make a swallowing move to kind of pretend that I take the pill, and then try to spit it out once the doctor left the room. I swallowed a few tablets just because I was horrified that they would catch me, but was able to spit some out. And in the next training camp, I kind of got all my courage together and told the national team coach, I'm not going to take those pills anymore. I'm aware of what it is, and I'm not going to take them. So the season passed, and I had a very successful season, and was able to compete in World Cups. But then at the end of the season, I was kind of given an ultimatum. It was said if I speak negatively about steroids and to my teammates or anything else, anybody else outside of the team, they would kick me out. And I knew that this was a road I didn't want to travel pretty much, and I just decided to quit and just give up the sport that I worked very long for, but it wasn't worth for me to stay in a sport that wanted me to take steroids or kick me out otherwise. So then I went to college for 3 years to become a teacher for geography and PE. It was up in Potsdam, close to Berlin. And during that time, I was not very connected to being an athlete anymore. I kind of turned into an artsy person, wore only black and partied a lot and just experienced life the first time really away from home, and wasn't living a very healthy lifestyle by any means, especially for being an athlete. But then in 1989, the world in regards or the East Bloc countries, perestroika was on the way. You probably all heard about Gorbachev, the Russian president at the time, who had a lot to do with bringing down the Berlin Wall, and also our former president, Ronald Reagan. Anyway, so in 1989, the wall came down, and I was able to, kind of start over a new life. And I was asked to become or try the sport of biathlon. And that's a combination of cross-country skiing and shooting. And I thought, I'll just try it. If not, I'll just finish my college and live a normal life. And I tried it out and was very interested in the sport in the first place, and learned rather quickly. I had really good coaches, and And I was at the time 22 years old, so I was very determined and knew what I wanted out of life. So I was very focused on learning the shooting very quickly and had excellent coaches. I had a really good experience of the first few months, just catching up on the shooting part very easily and enjoying it. But the physical part of cross-country skiing was really hard to me because, as I said, I didn't live a very healthy lifestyle. And during or after every workout, I was crying because of my extreme fatigue and tiredness. But I pushed through, and I'm glad I did. And in 1992 was the first time that women biathlon would be in the Olympics. So that was my big goal. It was only 2 years away, and I reached that goal and was able to compete in the 92 Olympics and came out of them with 1 gold medal and 2 silver medals. And 2 years later, I was able to compete at the next Olympics in Lillehammer, Norway, and got another bronze medal in the relay. And was to surprise everybody, I was very proud of my individual race in Lillehammer, where I finished 9th place, because I had a lot of pressure being the defending Olympic champion, and then also the 2 months before the Olympics, I had mono, and that is a sickness that really drags you down. I mean, I had a hard time just going on walks for a while. So during the Olympics, it was really hard for me to reach, my normal potential skiing wise. And on the shooting range, I was shaking. My legs were really weak and tired. So that was a big accomplishment, and I'm very proud of that. I competed 1 more season for the German team, and then I became pregnant with my daughter Hazel and retired from sport. And ever since, I'm just like a cross-country skier on my free time, and I like to hike a lot. Something that I left out was my husband and I met. He was on the US Olympic team and national team in 92. So that's how we met, and that's how I ended up out here in Utah. And the thing that, when I grew up and older people would talk to me, or, I would hear talks, I never liked them giving me advice or what to do, or talk about their hard times and how easy we have it. So I don't want to do that to you. But I wanted to give you just some insight in what I would have done different and what I learned from my experience as an athlete. So first off, you are all CAP students. So that means to me that you are not just going with the flow and just trying to get through high school, but that you're determined and try to find the passion for you, the thing that you love to do in the future. And I think that's a very important thing. And when I was younger, I was holding myself back by being too competitive and perhaps maybe a little too proud to try new things, with the worry that I would fail. And that's something I would tell you to do the opposite. Try to find the things you love, expose yourself to different classes. And our schools here in Heber have, our high school has really a broad range of things that you can expose yourself to and find out what you really like, what your profession should be. So I would advise you to try many different things and not be afraid of failure like I was. Another thing that I learned from being an athlete is that you have to set goals, of course, but you also should enjoy every day, even though you go through pain and setbacks, but you should try to really enjoy what you're doing and take it all in. I wish I would have taken in more the travel experiences I had, or like at the Olympics, I never went to an opening ceremony because I was so focused on my races and didn't want to get tired muscles, things like that. So try to stay a little bit in the moment and enjoy the day. Another thing on a personal level, when I was growing up, my father was my coach on the local club level, and then also at that sports school I went to. And I was brought up in, my parents were very strict, and they never really told me, you know, I love you, or you're doing a great job. Good was never good enough. So that was first off hard on me, but also made me set too high expectations of myself and made it hard for me to be happy with myself, because I felt like their love was conditional and their support was conditional, and that I really wasn't good enough. So when I moved to the US, I actually hated it when I heard all the time, oh, good job, good job. I saw little kids on the playground just getting up, you know, like just doing basic things, or in school, and everybody was just praising everybody for the smallest thing. And I didn't like that at all. But now I kind of like that American attitude of, you know, good job, or you can do it, which I didn't grow up with at all. So a good dose of everything is probably the perfect mixture. Another thing that I learned from being an athlete is when I competed for Germany, we had a really good support system. We had excellent coaches. We had a full-time massage therapist. We had technicians. We had people who waxed our skis. I mean, we just had a big network around us that helped us in any way they could. And I wish I would have been more grateful to those people. I mean, I was not mean or anything, but in retrospect, I think I didn't acknowledge enough what the people in the background did for me or for us. Growing up, I was quite shy, and was maybe because of my upbringing, and also of the situation in East Germany, where we had kind of like a secret police that spied on people. So you didn't open yourself up very much and trusted other people. It was very hard for me. So that is something that I had to learn. And I'm glad I learned out here in the United States. People make it very easy. They're very welcoming. So take advantage of that people have trust and give you the opportunity to open up. Let's see. Another thing maybe is life doesn't need to be perfect to enjoy. Just take things as it is, and take one day at a time, and live kind of in that attitude of whatever happens, and then just adjust accordingly to what needs to be done. We had an exciting day yesterday, elections. It's still undecided, of course, but that is something I treasure a ton. I became a US citizen in 2000, so I'm able to vote, and I'm very happy and grateful to live in a free country where you can actually vote and for more than one person, like it was in East Germany, and your vote counts and it stands for something. So I'm very appreciative of freedom of speech, democracy, and the opportunities our country, the US, gives all of us to really achieve our goals. I think no other country than the US is really famous for that kind of slogan that you can really accomplish anything if you put your heart into it. So that's pretty much my little speech that I wanted to give, and I would prefer to open it up for questions to see what you guys are interested in, what parts of my life, or if you have any comments.
So if anybody has questions, just ask it and then I'll relay it, because I don't know if the screen will pick it up. So
All right.
what questions do you guys have? Oh, Mary? What was the most shocking thing when you moved to the US? Is that right, Mary?
The most shocking thing? All right, so the food is quite a different thing. The European bread is really good. It actually you can't squish it down to this much, and so it's really dense and good. So I miss the bread. And what else I noticed immediately was people here are very aware and want their personal space. Like in Europe, you just touch shoulders with everybody everywhere. I mean, you can't avoid touching other people. And I remember going down the aisle in the grocery store and people would say, I mean, I was like, at least, let's say like at least 3 feet away from them. And people would say, pardon me, because they were so close to me in their eyes. And to me, it was like, what's their problem? What do they pardon about? So those were the things that were most shocking to me, I have to say.
Other questions? Say it a little bit louder. The difference in the languages. So I think the question is how hard was it for you kind of to learn English, and what's the differences between the languages?
So growing up in East Germany, so we all had to learn Russian in school. So English was my third language that I learned in my early 20s. It was quite hard, and being the perfectionist, as I mentioned, kind of, I didn't speak much in the beginning because I was afraid I would say something wrong or it would sound weird. So I was observing a lot and just listening. My husband and I watched a lot of videos, a lot of movies, and then whenever I had a question, we would just pause and he would explain it to me. And so this way is how my vocabulary grew a lot. And also reading books, of course. That's probably what helped me the most in learning the language. I think English is a relatively easy language to learn compared to German. German has really tough grammar, and so I way prefer to have had learned English as a second language and not German. So I don't want to be discouraging in learning German, but it's hard. It's hard, and as you can hear, I mean, I try to speak good English, but my accent, I'm not gonna lose it anymore because I learned it later on in life, and it's really hard to shake your accent that late. So that's just what's gonna stick with me.
Other question? What do you miss the most about Germany?
Good question. I miss that people are on time. German people are very, timely and kind of cut to the chase kind of people. So no big fluff around them. So I kind of like that. What you see is what you get, and then the punctuality.
Maddie? Say it a little louder, sorry. How do you think your life would be different if you had ended up taking the drugs?
Good question. So first off, I wouldn't have met my husband, which is the best thing that came out of my athletic career, I think. I'm super grateful and happy that we found each other. And so that wouldn't have happened. And then, of course, I wanted to see how far I could get with the training that I put in. I didn't want to cheat. I didn't want to see what my body can do with outside help. I wanted to really see what I can do on my own. And then also I was worried about what it would do to my body. And as I mentioned in the beginning, I would have been really worried about not having had the ability to have children at all, or to give birth to unhealthy children with handicaps or disabilities, because I chose to take performance enhancing drugs.
Is there any part of that process that you regret?
Is there any part of that process that you regret?
What I don't understand what that I didn't take him.
What do you mean, Hiram?
So with like that whole like leaving
When you were leaving the team and stuff, is there any part of that process that you regret that you wish you would have done when you left the team?
No, I mean, now I don't regret it at all. I mean, back then I had moments where I was, really questioning myself if it was a good choice, because I put so much. I mean, I was 17 when I quit. So I put pretty much, I started competitively at age 6 or 7. So I put many years in, day in and day out, training and, sweating and going through pain to achieve what I was able to achieve at age 17. And then to give it all up, that was definitely hard, but I don't have any regrets, of course. I mean, it all turned out really well. And I mean, it's almost like a fairy tale, I mean, a lot of people who quit the job, who quit the sport for other reasons, they never were able to achieve their biggest dreams, and I was able to achieve them, so I don't have any regrets at all.
Oh. What was the what? What was the best and scariest moment under communism?
The scary things were that, as I mentioned before, you were spied on. So people, friends, sometimes family members would spy on you and report to the Communist Party if you did something that wasn't in line with what they expected you to live like. Like, I mean, simple things like my parents were both teachers and you were expected to fly the East German flag on election day. And if you didn't, people would rat you out and you were reported and had to go through an interview and promise that you would, you know, the next year do better. I mean, it was all very controlled. And I had my best friend in elementary school. She was a Christian. She went to church still with her family, which was very, very rare that people still go to church because it was really shunned by the government. And she wasn't able to go to high school because she was a Christian. They didn't let her go to high school because everything was run by the government, schools, everything. So they just didn't give her the opportunity to go to high school just because she was a Christian. So religious persecution, you didn't have freedom of speech in any way, shape, or form. So that was really sad. And then people who would try to escape Germany, which we had friends who tried to escape through Hungary, and they were captured and had to be in political prison for 3 years. I mean, under just awful circumstances. Their young daughter had to live with grandmother. And I mean, it was just terrible situations, life situations and tragedies.
Okay. Well, I think that's all the questions that I can see.
All right.
Antje, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you so much, and we will.
You're welcome.
Okay, have a great day.
Yeah, you guys too. See you later. Okay. Bye.